Alright, welcome back everybody to a horror room movie review. Today we are doing Leprechaun 3. So as you can see here, the third one. And this one was 1995, and Leprechaun goes to Vegas.
Yes.
That's the gist of this one. I guess just my thoughts about the movie. This one was extremely goofy, even for a Leprechaun movie, I thought. Just some of the death scenes were just wacky. And I thought it was pretty entertaining, though. I think I prefer the other ones more, actually, compared to this. Not to say this was bad, but because I know what I'm getting when I'm watching a Leprechaun movie. So I can't really say it was bad, but I preferred the other two, 1 and 2, over this one. How did you feel about this?
I like them all. For different reasons. They're all like pretty bad, but you know.
Yeah. Well, this one starts off, and we have a guy who has one arm, one leg, one eye, and he goes to a pawn shop to get some money to leave town. He's got this leprechaun statue and has a medallion around its neck, and he says it's a good luck charm, but you can't touch the medallion. So the pawn shop guy gives him $20 for all of this, and of course, as soon as the guy leaves, he takes off the medallion. Leprechaun comes alive, and he leaves a pot of gold. The pawn shop guy takes the gold and doesn't even care that this statue just vanished.
Yeah. It's just obviously gone off the table, but he's like, gold, oh my god.
Yeah, he's just, all he cares about is the gold. Leprechaun jumps up behind him, he bites his ear off, takes his shoe off and bites his toe off.
That was a good shot, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that was good. And he sees the medallion, and he holds it up, and Leprechaun sees it, and he freaks out. He takes his gold, and he runs into the back room. He doesn't leave the pawn shop. Which is what I initially thought, but he just goes into a back room somewhere.
Where he does say he's going to leave, like, I'm leaving now, and then he just goes in the back room.
Yeah, he just goes to the back room, and he drops a gold piece. So then we get, and by the way, this movie jumps around a ton.
Yes.
I don't know what they were trying to do in directing, but...
Yeah, the director obviously did not have any idea how to flow a scene. Mm-hmm. He just cut it up and just put it in like all these different areas.
So there's going to be a lot of back and forth here. So we meet the cast of characters, the two main people, Scott, and he runs into a girl who's having car trouble, Tammy, and he agrees to give her a ride to work.
And probably like around this time you hear like he wants to get into where she works. She works at a casino. Mm-hmm. He can't get in because he's not 21.
Yeah.
This actor is obviously like 10 years older than what he's playing.
Yeah, he's got to be like 28 at least.
So bad.
Yeah, 1995 though.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the pawn shop. The guy puts on he knows he's fighting a leprechaun now. So he puts on a CD. He has a CD just sitting at his desk that is like folklore. And everything you could ever want to know about leprechauns is right here. He puts it in the computer. It just plays this program. He types on leprechaun. It plays a whole movie with audio. This program, whatever it is awesome.
Yeah, for that time period. Nothing like it.
I mean, you can just type in anything you want about like mythological monsters, and you get a whole movie package. So Leprechaun is counting his gold in the back room, and he sees he's missing a piece. And I also noticed that the gold is different in this movie compared to the second movie.
Yes, there was just a pot of gold, like the first movie. But, you know, the second movie had all this extra, like what? Like bracelets?
All types of
chalices.
Stuff. When he would find gold, like when he bit the guy's finger off in the second movie and he takes the gold ring or the homeless man's tooth, he would just collect gold, no matter what shape. And this one, it's all coins again. So then Tammy goes to work. She works at the Lucky Shamrock Casino as a magician's assistant. Then we go back to the pawn shop, and he's loading a gun. And Leprechaun goes and puts his gold in a safe. Pawn shop guy finds the gold coin. The computer program says that the people who find a gold coin get a wish for every piece of gold they find.
First plot hole, not like the first one or the second one.
Yeah, because what was it? The second one you get 3 wishes.
I know that's the first one you got a wish if you caught the leprechaun. The second one you got 3 wishes for just a piece of gold.
Yeah, because Morty in the second one wishes for the 3.
Yeah.
you gotta wish me out of the safe and open the door.
Second wish granted.
So then we go back to Scott and Tammy. Scott wants Tammy to sneak him in the casino because he's under 21. She sneaks him in. We go back to the pawn shop guy. He's going into the back to kill the leprechaun. And he ends up getting shot by a statue's arrow. Leprechaun's using magic on him. He goes to pull the gun. Leprechaun sticks his finger in the gun like he's Bugs Bunny.
The gun blows up when he pulls the trigger. Yeah, very Acme.
Yeah, and he stops him by putting the medallion in Leprechaun's mouth. He starts spitting up all this green blood or whatever.
Yeah, green gooey stuff.
So we go back to the casino. We see a priest. He's gambling with 2 girls, rolling 6s, and Tammy's rehearsing with the great Fazio, the casino magician.
Basically, he's just a lame act. He's subpar as best.
Yeah, this isn't like a big-time casino or anything. He's just kind of like amateurish. Scott is not supposed to gamble, but he gives in, and he has a check on him for his college, $23,000 for tuition and housing, and he not only goes and cashes all of this in, he doesn't get just a couple hundred. He cashes in $23,000 to gamble his first time.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. And there are these other 2 guys. These mobsters show up to hassle the casino owner, this guy named Mitch. We don't know why.
Yeah, it never says why. It only really says their name of these 2 guys once, and it's barely audible. Like, you can't catch it.
I didn't catch it at all.
You don't know what these guys are doing, like where they're from or nothing. It doesn't explain this at all.
Yeah, they're just kind of there, and they want to meet him to extort money from him or something.
Yeah, and it's just, why? The question, whatever.
So, pawn shop guy, back to him. He goes to try to make a deal with the leprechaun. I also noticed there are way more leprechaun puns and rhymes in this one.
Yes.
Probably more in this one than the first 2 movies combined.
Ooh, I love it.
It is good. He offers him the medallion for half his gold. Leprechaun agrees, but of course he tricks him, uses his powers to steal the medallion, and then he goes to attack him, and it cuts off to a different scene again, and we're back to the casino with Scott losing all his money. This girl, Loretta, who works for the casino, is cheating and stealing him all his money. Then we go to the great Fazio and Tammy doing their act, but no one in the casino cares because it's lame.
You see the very front part, this guy's just sleeping on the table, like right in the foreground. It's hilarious. He's just dead asleep right in front of the act.
Yeah. Then we go back to the pawn shop, and we see Leprechaun chasing the pawn shop owner. And then it cuts again!
Stop cutting!
So Scott goes, he loses all his money. Loretta tells him, hey, there's a pawn shop, go pawn your watch, get some cash, come back. So he goes to the pawn shop to sell his watch, and the pawn shop owner is getting beat to death, even though he has the gold piece on him.
Yes, he still has the gold piece on him.
Mm-hmm. If you remember in the second movie, if you've seen the second review we've done, they have this rule in the second movie where if you have the piece, Leprechaun cannot hurt you. In this one, he can just kill you straight out, whether you got the gold piece or not. He beats him to death, chokes him with a telephone cord. And then Scott shows up. He unwraps the phone cord,
leaving his fucking evidence, fingers right there, like fingerprints, DNA, on the phone.
Yeah. And he unwraps the cord and then calls not the police, the operator.
Yeah, he calls an operator and tells her that there's a dead man on the floor.
Yeah, he's like, I got a dead guy here.
It's like, yes, because the operators are the one to call.
And then he sees the Leprechaun movie playing on the computer and finds the gold coin. And it says something in the movie about how you get a wish. So he tries it out, I guess. Yeah. And he wishes he was back at the casino on a winning streak. He transforms or teleports over to the casino, and he's winning all this money. Mitch, the owner's getting all mad that he keeps winning, so he closes the table, gives him a room key. Tammy comes up and says, you weren't supposed to gamble, but he says, look at all this money I've won. And he tells her, and I went to the pawn shop, I found a dead guy, and then I'm back here winning. And they never really think about that again.
He just mentions it and just leaves it alone like that.
Yeah. She should have said, wait a minute, back up here.
Back up that murder train a little bit. What's this?
So she tells him to cash his money in and leave, get out of town. And Loretta, the sneaky girl who was cheating, who works for the casino, sees Tammy talking to him. She's kind of jealous of Tammy. And Tammy says, I'll be up to your room later. So then we see Leprechaun walking around Vegas, joking around with Elvis impersonator. Great Fazio is doing some tricks outside, and Leprechaun shows up and puts some leprechaun poo in his bag.
Right. Some green poop. He's holding out his head. It's magic. It's great.
So Fazio gets pissed off. He leaves and he finds Loretta, and she tells him about Scott, the kid winning all the money, and Tammy, and how he has all this money in a gold coin. Then we see Leprechaun gambling, and the two gangsters come up, the two mobsters that want to extort money, and they start hassling him, and he just uses magic on him, makes one of the guys spit out coins like a slot machine.
Human slot machine.
So they freak out and they leave. Then we see Scott in the bathroom, and he kind of and Fazio breaks into his hotel room. He's in the bathroom in his room. Fazio breaks in looking for the money and the coin, and he steals his silk underwear.
Yeah, he's like finds some silk underwear. He's like, oh yes, silk underwear.
So he can't find the money because Scott's got that on him, but he does find the gold coin, and he throws a fireball and disappears.
Yeah.
So as soon as he's gone, Leprechaun shows up looking for his coin. He bites Scott on the arm. Scott stabs him in the head, and blood, this green blood, falls directly into his open wound. He throws Leprechaun out the window, and then he sees an illusion of himself in the mirror, starting to change into a leprechaun himself. Some really bad acting follows where he's like, and then he falls on the ground because he's transforming or something.
Yeah, he's turning into Leprechaun.
I thought the acting there was just horrible. So Loretta tells Fazio that he comes back with the coin, and she's like, it has powers. But it doesn't work, so he tells her, just sell it, we'll split the money. Mitch shows up and takes the coin from Loretta and says he'll give it back when she gets his money that she lost the casino back. She insults him, says he can't even get a girl like Tammy. He says I could get her, and then he kind of makes a wish. And then Tammy comes up, and now she has turned. She like, completely changes characters here.
Yeah, it's like she turned in, like her voice turned into like a Marilyn Monroe talking to a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God, it's weird.
It was bad. So Tammy's under this spell where she wants to have sex with Mitch. They go up to his room. For some reason, she's like slapping him around in the elevator. That made no sense at all.
She likes it rough. So it's like I don't know what they were trying to do. It was like trying to make a funny scene out of it.
Yeah. And then he starts throwing himself into the wall. It was so stupid. Loretta sneaks into Mitch's room while he's distracted by Tammy, and she steals the coin. And then instantly, Tammy snaps out of this trance.
Just like that.
Scott now has because he's transforming into a leprechaun, he now has an Irish accent, and he's eating potatoes. Lots of potatoes.
Potatoes.
And he's speaking in rhymes like Leprechaun does too.
Yeah, more little clips.
Yeah. So Leprechaun goes to Mitch's room, and he puts this naked woman on the television. And Mitch is falling for it. Tammy got mad and left. So he's watching this naked girl on TV, and she actually crawls out of the TV set. Scott finds out that Tammy's up there with him, so she goes up there, and he meets her walking out, and she's crying and says she just got fired. And he's like, I'm not going to let this happen. So he goes up there to confront Mitch. Meanwhile, Mitch is trying to have sex with a woman who just came out of the TV.
Yeah, the thought never ran past him that this is not normal.
No, and it is so bad. And then Leprechaun is on the TV doing commercials where he says Mitch's name, and he's like, was that my name? And the girl's like, no. This happens 3 times.
Yeah.
Then Leprechaun comes out of the TV. He looks at the girl. She's turned into this robot something.
Yeah, it's like a robot sex doll, something futuristic.
It was bizarre, very bizarre. And then Leprechaun makes this doll electrocute Mitch, and he dies. Scott and Tammy bust in the room. They find him dead. Leprechaun shows up. So do the mobsters from earlier.
Now this is funny because Leprechaun shows up. They have to like toss like a wooden object, knocks them down, and they leave real quick. But right when they leave, they're not completely out of scene, and the mobsters run in and don't act like they saw a thing.
No, they go straight to the Leprechaun.
Yeah.
And they don't pay attention to Tammy and Scott at all. Basically, Leprechaun kills the mobsters. Nothing really impressive. He pokes one guy's eye out, and then he just beats them to death with a shillelagh, I guess.
Yes.
Scott and Tammy escape. He's turning more and more into a leprechaun with these bad puns.
Leper Scott.
So they decide to go back to the pawn shop for answers. Then we see Loretta with the gold coin, wishing to be beautiful. She goes to see Fazio, and he steals the coin from her. And he wishes to be the greatest magician in the world. Leprechaun finds Loretta, and he makes her boobs, lips, and butt so big they explode.
The scene is obviously she explodes and it's like stuffing, like foam. Mm-hmm. No red blood, nothing. Just obvious foam.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The makeup effects when she's like expanding are pretty good.
Yeah.
But when she explodes, it's definitely like yellow foam. So then Scott and Tammy are at the pawn shop.
Which
no police.
No police around. I mean, I'm just going to say, realistically, any homicide police are going to be at, they're going to be there for a good while.
Yeah.
And it hasn't even been an hour. And just like, some outstretched police tape. That's it. No police.
We see the computer program, and there's like a little thing that says police line over it. But that is it. That's like the extent of their investigation.
Yeah. They're like, that guy's dead. We're out of here. That's all we need to know.
They're not trying to find who made the phone call, who reported it. But they see the computer program that says you have to destroy the gold to kill the leprechaun. So Tammy, I'm thinking at this point, Tammy could just, they have this, well, actually I'm getting ahead of myself here. But they go in to the back room. She picks up the medallion. Scott kind of freaks out about it. So she doesn't think anything of it, but she takes it with her. He uses his powers to open the safe and get the gold, because he can sense gold now since he's half leprechaun or whatever. And this is where I'm thinking she could just grab a piece and wish him back to normal.
At any moment, she could.
Yeah. And Leprechaun shows up. He's got an axe. And they try and use a gold coin to make a wish, but he says a leprechaun's gold can't hurt the leprechaun, so you can't wish anything against him. So they use the medallion. They kind of scare him off. They run. Tammy decides we got to take Scott to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like that's going to help him at this point.
For real.
Then we see Leprechaun trying to hitchhike, even though he can teleport.
Potholes!
Oh,
Just
man.
a scene trying to be funny. That's all.
So obviously the doctors don't know what's wrong with him. He's turning into a leprechaun. They've never seen anything like this. They think it's a fungus. They ask if he has insurance. He asks them if they take Green Cross. Oh, God.
There's a scene where he sticks his tongue out at the doctors. Scott does. Leper Scott sticks his tongue out while on the gurney. And you can visibly notice an extra tongue, a fake tongue on his real tongue.
Yeah, this was, oh man.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. So they run all these tests on him, his heart and everything, and the papers come out, and it's like little green leprechauns dancing.
Yeah, for like a heartbeats.
Yeah, and instead of the doctors saying, what the hell is going on here, they find out he's got all this cash from his winnings at the casino, and they're like, hey, let's just run a lot of tests on him and make some money here.
He doesn't need insurance. He has this money.
Let's not worry about the fact we're seeing something that has never been seen in history before. But Tammy finds a guy stabbed to death in the morgue, and Leprechaun shows up and straps her down. She calls him a son of a bitch, and he says, that's no way to speak about my mother. So there are female leprechauns.
Yes. We find that out now.
So Scott uses his powers to break free of the doctors and fights them off. He goes to save Tammy. He finds Leprechaun. He tells him that Fazio has his gold coin. And Tammy drives Leprechaun off with a medallion. So now, on the way back to the casino, they're going to find Fazio. And now she's saying, hey, we can wish you back with the gold coin. They had all the gold before, and she's just not thinking about this. So Fazio is on stage performing. Leprechaun comes out of the box instead of his assistant. Fazio refuses to hand over the coin, so Leprechaun puts him in the box and cuts him in half while he's holding the gold coin.
Wow, he's like in his hand.
Yeah.
And again, plot goes down that hole. Go, plot.
So then we have Scott and Tammy showing up. They tell everybody to leave the casino. Leprechaun vanishes real fast. Then Tammy picks up the coin, tries to wish Scott back to normal, but Leprechaun shows up and stops her. He starts trying to reason with Scott, saying, hey, we're brothers, come to the green side. Oh, God. So Scott doesn't fall for his tricks. He sees the pot of gold. He uses this flamethrower they were using in the Magic Act to burn the gold. Leprechaun catches on fire, and Scott goes back to normal. So, yeah, I was asking you, I was like, is this it? Is this really it? It just kind of happened.
That was just it. That's how it ends.
Yeah, they just burn the gold, and then Leprechaun immediately flies through the air on fire, burns to ashes, like bones and ashes, and that was it. And then Scott just goes right back to normal. He's not turning into a leprechaun.
Not Leper Scott anymore.
No. So the last thing we see is Tammy and Scott leaving the casino. She has a gold coin, and she says, we still got this. They decide not to wish for anything and just kind of throw it away.
Now I have a question. If you're supposed to destroy all the gold to destroy the leprechaun, how is he dead with still a piece left? Maybe that's why there's still more Leprechaun movies.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the same thing. I was going to say, hey, they still have a piece left, but then we know there's Leprechaun 4, 5, and 6 coming. So I assume maybe they'll explain it in the fourth one? No, they're probably not. Probably forgot everything that happened in this movie, and they're going to make up some brand new rules for the part 4. Because no iron, no clovers.
For God's sakes, he goes into space.
Yeah, Leprechaun 4, he's in space. So I'm definitely excited for that one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week.
Had a good time.
Yeah, this was definitely entertaining, and I look forward to doing part 4, and I hope you guys can check that one out too. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts, they're up on the channel, so check those out, and that's it for this week. So thanks for watching. Bye.